Billy Dib, your brother, fight week for him. What are your thoughts on his fight?
Yeah, man, look, it's going to be a great fight. It's been a long time coming for the kid. You know, he's been grafting in the background. He's been working extremely hard, and you know, his moment has finally arrived, and he gets his opportunity to shine on this amazing show.
How would you describe him as a fighter for those who haven't seen him?
I think he's technically sound. You know, he's very technically sound. Billy Hassan's been working on him for many, many years, so he does a lot of things really well. I wouldn't say he's the heaviest-handed fighter, and I wouldn't say he's the slickest fighter, but he does everything, you know, in moderation. You know, he's not bad. You know, he can deliver. He can fight on the inside. He can box if he has to, and so I think, you know, you're going to see a pretty complete package.
And what do you know about Miles Zalewski, the opponent?
To be quite honest, I don't know much about him except that he's heavy-handed. You know, I know that he's scored knockout of the year a couple of years back, and I know that a few people have avoided him, but you know, we're moving down in weight for this one. You know what I mean? So like, for me, it's a good opportunity for Youssef to come down in weight and beat a guy who people have, you know, seen knock some people out, and so I think Youssef's going to definitely shine.
You happy to see him on TV as well?
Oh, definitely. You know, No Limit are doing the best things with Australian boxing at the moment, and I feel that Youssef gets his chance to shine on one of their shows, and I think that this is just a starting point. I said it the other day, and I will say it again, is I think this is, you know, a young man emerges as a star from this, so, you know, Youssef, this is a good platform for Youssef to show his skill set, and I think that, you know, a star will emerge.
How do you think the fight plays out?
You know, if it goes the way that I want it to go, I think I want you to go out there and just put on a statement and knock this guy out in 1 or 2 rounds. You know what I mean? That's what I've asked of him. That's what we've been working on, and I just feel like if Youssef does what I know he can do, you know, this fight will be an extremely easy fight. You know, his last fight was against Kai McKenzie. We had a plan. He went out there and he executed the plan to a T. And if he listens and continues to listen to his team in Billy Hassan and Hussein, he'll do the same thing on Wednesday night.
What about the Australian boxing scene as a whole at the moment? What do you make of it?
Oh man, it's fire right now. It's so good, you know. And I just think that, you know, No Limit are doing this so well, and I love the fact that, you know, Tim's a star now, and he's sort of, you know, carrying Australian boxing on his shoulders. But all these other guys are coming through, and it's a method that hasn't been used before. You see, No Limit have got this amazing method where Tim's a star, but they're building all these other stars behind him. It's like when Paul Gallen was fighting, they were building other stars behind him. So, you know, it continues to feed Australian boxing when you do that. You know, you're not just concentrating on the one star. It's like, you know, when Anthony Mundine was fighting, everyone only cared about Anthony Mundine, nobody else. You know, you never seen any real other stars emerge after him, you know. But I just feel like the way No Limit's doing it is absolutely perfect. It's giving these kids a great opportunity to shine on so many of these cards, and as you can see, you know, 4 back-to-back shows, just bang, bang, bang with Fox Sports, which is amazing. It just keeps boxing on people's, you know, on people's radar, and they're tuning in. You know, I mean, when they're tuning in and they're watching boxing, that puts boxing up there.
Obviously disappointing for Tszyu to lose that Charlo fight just recently. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's definitely disappointing, but I can understand where Charlo's coming from. You know, when you got a Canelo Alvarez who's sort of, you could say, on the decline. You know, Canelo's been professional since he was 15 years of age. He's 33 now, so that's that's a good 23 years in boxing, right? So, you know, you could say that he's on the decline, and you could say that, you know, Charlo's facing a good Canelo, and, you know, a Canelo that he might be able to beat. So, and the payday is going to be amazing. So, and from what I understand in the world from the world of boxing, the sanctioning bodies, the WBC, the WBA, the IBF and the WBO are going to be making a ton of money from this fight. So, in saying that, I don't see them stripping Charlo of any of these belts, because really what it is that he goes up and challenges Canelo, he loses, he comes back down and he's got his belts, you know what I mean? So I think it's a bit of a waiting game for Tim, but if I'm Tim, and I know his team are doing this, just keep him busy. Keep Tim busy, because, you know, the busier Tim is, the better Tim gets, and the harder the fight's going to be for Charlo. You know what I mean? I just feel like Tim, as I said, I'll never pick against Tim again. You know, once upon a time I picked against Tim when he fought Jeff Horn. I thought it was a bit too early, but he proved me wrong, and I made a decision that day that I'd never pick against him again, and I'd always back him, and I am going to back him regardless of whoever he fights.
Georgie Kambosos back in the ring this weekend against Maxie Hughes. Any thoughts on that fight?
Yeah, I mean, look, Maxi Hughes is a upset-minded type of fighter. You know, he's obviously the current IBO champion, which really doesn't mean too much, but you know, he's still a champion of somewhat, and he's upset a few people. You know, I mean, he upset Kid Galahad. He's had a couple of good wins, so you know, if Georgie doesn't turn up and put on a sizzling performance, you know, he might get upset again. So, but I definitely feel that George has the skill set to upset this guy and beat him, you know, pretty comfortably. And I think it's a world title eliminator, so you know, it sets up an opportunity for George to fight for I think what will be a vacant title, because from what I understand, what's going on right now, I think Teofimo Lopez will fight Devin Haney at some stage, and you know, with that happening, Devin will vacate all the lightweight titles, and you know, that opens up an opportunity for Georgie Kambosos to maybe win a vacant world title again. And then if the plan that I have goes as I'm thinking, I think Youssef beats Miles and gets an IBF international title or whatever belt they're fighting for, puts him in the ratings, and then eventually we have this Youssef Dib versus Georgie Kambosos fight. That's what I'm aiming for.
Yeah, beauty. And Jai Opetaia, a lot of talk about him. Richard Riakporhe. Any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, look, I think Jai's just in a class of his own. He's an absolute phenom. I love Jai. I reckon he's got all the skills in the world. He's tough as nails, and I feel like, you know, he's just got the skill set to upset anybody in that division right now.
It's really crazy. Australian boxing's just on fire at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, look, I actually wish I was champion of the world now. You know, it was such a good time to be champion right now. You know, like when I won the IBF championship and defended it on a few occasions, and I won the IBO title as well. It was like, you know, boxing just wasn't what it is right now. You know, I wish it was, but it wasn't, you know what I mean? But you only take what you're given, and, you know, that was my time, and now this is Youssef's time, and I feel like, you know, the Dib name will continue to blossom, and I think that, you know, provided No Limit back this kid and back him the way they're backing Tim and that, I think Australia will have another world champion very, very soon.
And what about yourself, mate? How's the health?
Mate, it's just good to be alive. That's all I can really say. You know, I'm just so grateful and thankful that God's given me an opportunity to be here. You know, if the doctors were right in what they were saying, I shouldn't be here today. So, you know, I'm alive and I'm well, and I'm just taking each day as it comes. You know, I mean, I see life from a different perspective now. You know, after coming through cancer and being it, you know, I mean, so many people that are around me who have died from cancer. My own wife passed away from cancer in 2015. So, you know, for me to be alive and be here telling the story is just a blessing in itself.
Thanks so much, Billy.
Thank you so much, man.